I'm Olivia Otieno, and you are, like us, celebrating Pan-African Women's Day today at SpiceFM. Joining me are four phenomenal women, right? Amazing, talented, beautiful, influential women. From right here in this Nairobi, Kenya, it is Janet Mbugua, CEO and founder of the Mbugua Foundation, recently named International Gender Champion. From Egypt, Sondos Ali, the Group Accounting Analyst for Jumia Group. From Nigeria, spa owner and Director of Sales, it is a lady called Iyadunni Gbadebo. She is also the marketing manager for Echo Hotels. And last, but certainly not least, a woman of courage, tenacity, and perseverance. Former blogger for the female movement Future Females and former district chairperson of the Youth Nelson Mandela Bay in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Mnothowandile Cele. I am so proud of myself for just going through that list. Let me tell you, it is 2021, end of July. I have already won. Consider this Christmas, the New Year's Eve party combined. Welcome, ladies. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, man. Do you know how I'm just winning.com? So we're going to go clockwise, starting with you, Janet Mbugua. I know you. All of Kenya knows you. Most of Africa knows you, but maybe not everybody, because we have diaspora as well, right? So what I would love to do is for you to just tell me who is Janet Mbugua, your wins, and some of your trials, please.
Thank you, Olivia. First of all, it's so good to see you. Olivia also shouldn't humble brag herself. She's like an icon in radio in Kenya. I'm really honored to be sharing the platform with you. Hi to my sisters on this platform, all beautiful, and you just look incredible. I know there's a certain hotel I'm coming to in Nigeria, so you just need to be ready for that. Yes, I'm Janet Mbugua. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, grew up in Mombasa. I'm a former news anchor, producer, and presenter, basically, based in Nairobi. Sorry, I think somebody, okay. But I also worked briefly in Johannesburg, so Mnothowandile Dumela. I hope I've said that good. That's the second greeting to you. I spent 2 years in Johannesburg during the World Cup. I was also a broadcast journalist then. Came back, and I think Citizen TV is what changed my life because it's one of the most watched stations in the region, where again, I was an anchor producer. And that's where I was introduced to social injustices in a big way. I did a story on my talk show about period poverty. And then I formed my foundation after that. I was so triggered, it made me form my foundation because I couldn't believe that it was 2013, 2014, and women and girls didn't have access to menstrual products and information. And so Iyadunni is my heartbeat. We've been incredibly lucky in terms of milestones recently. We were part of the Generation Equality Forum, plugging in youth advocates to really amplify social injustices. I was also, I think, one of, or the only Kenyan moderator on the global stage recently for the Generation Equality Forum, for the Action Coalition. And I know, Olivia, you mentioned the International Gender Champions. Yeah, it's a group of, it's a global group that brings together gender equality amplifiers, whether it's ambassadors, whether it's just different kinds of people. And so they invited me in and I was really humbled. I just think I'm constantly having these conversations because there's a fire in my belly. I used to wonder why I'm so burdened by inequality. Then I used to castigate myself because I was like, girl, it's not your space. Just continue doing what you're doing, until I realized I'm triggered every single day. I'm bothered. I'm restless about it. And so I've decided I'm just going to make noise forever until we see a difference. And so I have a book out called My First Time, which is all about access to menstrual products and using storytelling to break down the stigma around menstrual inequality. I've got two beautiful sons, and we just need to raise sons better.
Yes,
Every day I'm having conversations. They're 3 and 6, but it doesn't matter. I'm like, listen, when you're older and you're in class with certain women or your boss happens to be one, that's okay. It's okay to embrace women. It's okay to embrace men, as long as we all have abilities and capabilities.
Yes,
we shouldn't be shunned. And so the same thing goes for men. It's so sad when you look at us versus them conversation when it comes to gender equality, when the truth is it's better for everyone.
I completely agree. I completely agree, Janet.
So
Thank you.
That's a little bit about me, my website is inuadadafoundation.org, but
Yes.
my personal website is officialjanetmbugua.com, because I'm also a moderator, public speaker, bit of a lifestyle influencer sometimes, So yeah, that's me. Really, it's like sometimes I still do the whole, the gram lifestyle,
Yes.
but it's really aligned to the brands that I enjoy working with. So that's
Fantastic.
me in a nutshell. I'm really happy to be here with all of you
Yes.
incredible women.
Yes.
Happy Pan-African Women's Day, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Fantastic. We head now down to South Africa. Mnothowandile, Cele, please tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you're all about.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I can finally actually put a face to the name. And hello to my gorgeous panelists. And wow, all I'm saying is that I'm so humbled to actually even be here. I'm really humbled to be here. And yeah, who is Mnothowandile Cele? As you did say, earlier on, she is a woman of, or well, I am a woman of courage, tenacity, and perseverance, because I feel like we have to, at some point as women, be very authentic in our story and in our journey as women. And I think a lot of people are not understanding that, and they think that we need to like dim our shine and our sparkle in order for us to fit into this box that we're supposed to fit in. Like, it's okay for you to be young and black and ambitious. It's okay for you to be a professional. It's okay for you to venture out and do your own thing. It's okay for you to take up space actually and cement yourself in places that are generally and normally male dominated.
Yes.
So I am an aspiring advocate. I'm currently studying at the Nelson Mandela University in Port Elizabeth. I'm a former beauty pageant girl, as you can say.
Indeed.
Well, back in 2015 and 2016, and I think my last pageant was in 2018 when I was then named the Warrior Princess for the province of the Eastern Cape. In 2017, I won a mayoral recognition award from the city of Johannesburg municipality, together with the Gauteng MEC of Safety and Security, in my efforts in highlighting the gender-based issues that are affecting women and children in South Africa. And also in the same year, I was honored again with an award of the Strong Women of the South Award. So a lot has been happening. And I think it's about time that as women, we should be able to speak on the issues that actually affect us as women. And I'm so grateful with what Janet is doing also in her space, that those kind of conversations are supposed to be had. We are supposed to have them, in as much as they might be so irksome and uncomfortable, to say the very least. We need to have those conversations, because if we are not having them, then what in our right, if we're female and we're black and we're leaders, then what is our job? What is our job?
Excellent.
So in 2019, I was then nominated for the Forbes Africa 30 under 30 list, of course, for my work in community development amongst women and children in the country. And then, wow.
No, say it, girl. Say it.
I'm gonna feel like I'm bragging.
No. I'm asking you. I'm asking you. I'm demanding, Mnothowandile.
Before the age of 30. I actually did all of this under the age of 30. So if someone is telling me that it's not possible, it's possible.
It is possible. You're living proof.
It's very possible.
Yes.
So okay, I will start with what I was, and then I will move back to what I am currently. So I was a former vice president for the International Law Students Association. So
yes.
It's an international organization that's based in America, and I was the vice president of that international association.
Yes.
I was a former radio presenter as well.
Yes, I can hear.
Radio for the Countdown Show. Yes, for the Countdown Show. So I think that's why, even with my voice, you in radio, you are taught how to project your voice and how to, articulate yourself better so that people can hear.
Doesn't come with that accent, but all right.
No, I always pull accents. I'm also a former blogger for the female movement, Future Females. It's also an international organization, as well as the former district chairperson of the youth of Nelson Mandela Bay in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. And I am currently, so district is like a regional
Yes.
chairperson. So I'm currently the provincial deputy chairperson for the Eastern Cape.
Nice.
I'm a facilitator, so my day-to-day is me being a facilitator at the Nelson Mandela Bay. At the Nelson Mandela University. And then I'm a goodwill ambassador for a haven called Yokuselo Haven. It's a shelter for abused women and children. I'm an ambassador for the She Leads Africa organization that hails all the way from Lagos, Nigeria.
Yes, Iyadunni, we see you there.
I'm going to speak. Yes, Iyadunni, when I'm going to come through, she's going to host me at the Echo Hotels. So accommodation should be sorted for me when I go to Nigeria. And I also recently launched recently launched and founded my own foundation called the Clips Wings Foundation.
Yes.
And recently, South Africa again has decided to honor the girl by giving me one of the prestigious youth awards, which is the Mail and Guardian's Top 200 Young South Africans under the civil society category.
Amazing.
So, thank you.
Mnothowandile, I did not learn that difficult name for nothing.
Yeah, and it actually means our wealth has continued to grow.
It has. It is growing.
So I feel like my grandmother, when she named me, she knew what she was doing. And she's probably looking down on me 10 years after. And she's like, you see, now you know your name. So essentially, the gist of what we need to say to the girls today, if they can take out of anything from the conversation that we'll be having today on Pan-African Women's Day, is it's okay for you to take your journey. It might not make sense to you at the time that it happens, but I promise you, like 10 years later, it will then click to you that I had to endure all of that I had to endure, and look at me now. So fabulous. That if I can just teach the ladies that, then my job is done.
Fantastic, Mnothowandile. We now head over to West Africa, to Nigeria, where she's not a radio presenter. Iyadunni Gbadebo. Tell me, why is this Pan-African Women's Day so important to you? And please give us a background on yourself.
Well, I'll start by saying congratulations to all these women, wonderful women out here. Happy Pan-African Women's Day. I think, Olivia, you set a really, really high bar here. There's so many talented, beautiful, and amazing women here. And I'm feeling a little threatened,
A Nigerian woman to feel threatened. Double O, what have you done? What have you done this Pan-African Women's Day? I had the pleasure of going to Eco Hotel. And let me tell you, what you are doing is not an easy thing. And anybody in hospitality going through COVID, I have been a sales and marketing manager for a hotel. It is hard. I'll tell you in Swahili, Ningumu. And it's only compounded by this pandemic. So please do not feel threatened in any way. You are a warrior. Tell us about yourself.
Don't mind me. I'm pulling your legs. Thank you very much for having me on this platform. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name again is Iyadunni Gbadebo. I'm currently Director of Sales and Marketing at Eco Hotel, a position which I've held for the last 10 odd years. I'm not sure how I'm still here 10 years after, because it started out as a 1-year contract. But I got very excited about the job, about the prospect. And I think that Africa has a lot to offer. Eco Hotel was a wonderful platform to just set Africa in that beautiful tourist space where, you're providing a lot of opportunities for people around Africa and, to be honest, around the world to come out and see the beauty outside all of the bad press and all the horrible things that people, in the diaspora say and feel about Africa and especially Nigeria. So I'll come back to Eco Hotel. Just let me realize a little bit of that, what I've been and what I've done. Prior to my job, my current job at Eco Hotel, I did work as the commercial director for the airport by Courtney Aviation Services, MMA2, which is a domestic and regional airport first domestic and regional airport, privately owned in Nigeria, with a private-public partnership with the federal government. I started out in that airport because it was supposed to be an aviation commercially viable business. But because a lot of money had been borrowed to start that business, and as you know, in Africa, when you work with government, business is not always as it is.
Yes.
And so, we had to, the owners of that airport had to do a lot to get commercial revenues coming in through the doors to sustain the business. And so I was headhunted to run the commercial aspect of the airport and generate revenues to sustain the business. And I think I did that for about 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
Prior to that, I was the national sales manager, sales and marketing manager for North American Airlines. North American Airlines is a commercial airline that came out of New York into Africa. It's actually the first airline that was flying direct flights from Lagos, from Nigeria, to the US.
Yes.
I headed the commercial business unit of that until we sort of moved out of Nigeria back to New York. Prior to that, I also started out the commercial consultancy for the company, which is now called Waka now. It used to be called the Zip Travel Network.
Yes.
And I started that with them to help them sort of set off their foundation into the Nigerian market.
Yes.
And I did that for a couple of years as well. Before that, I was heavily into theater and performances. So I studied theater and performing arts in university, and that's really my passion. I started out a production company, and we were doing stage plays and theatrical productions in different places, telling the beautiful African stories. And that was quite interesting until I figured, you know what? It wasn't making that much money at the time. It was before the onset of the Nollywood Nigerian movie industry.
Yes.
And at the time, theater was not that big. A lot of people didn't understand the concept of coming out to watch plays and things like that. There wasn't a lot of appreciation for it at the time, but we did a lot. And I think that birthed the whole Nollywood industry, and people started appreciating movies. I didn't think that I fit into the movie scene because I'm a theater person. So I just thought, let's branch out into the corporate world and see what, life has to offer for us there.
Yes, Iyadunni.
And almost 20 years down the line, I feel like I'm accomplished. I feel great for where I am now. 6 or 7 years ago, I went to Indonesia because I was sort of looking for fertility treatment.
Yes.
I had been married for 7 years. We were trying hard to have children. It was really difficult.
Yes.
And I was looking for alternative traditional medicine to just aid my try for having kids. And that took me to Indonesia, and I found a beautiful franchise called Teta Ayu Spa.
Yes.
It was an amazing spa. I did a lot of natural treatment there.
Yes.
And a couple of years after, I was pregnant.
Congratulations.
And I know that's not all down. That was not all down to just the spa and the treatment.
Yes.
It's God's grace. And I never, ever, trade God's grace in my life with having kids for anything. But this is how my spa started.
Yes.
And so I went to the village, and I was speaking to this lady who owned this beautiful franchise, and she was scared stiff of coming to Africa. And I said to her, you know what? You don't bother about coming to Africa. Let me take your brand to Africa. And 6 years down the line, we have 5 beautiful spas across Nigeria, and we're providing traditional herbal spa treatment for the African market.
Wonderful.
I think that's an amazing thing. Just bringing that franchise out of Bali to Nigeria and giving people that authentic spa treatment.
Yes.
We haven't done a lot of marketing for it, believe it or not, even though I'm in the marketing scene.
Yes.
The business has grown itself. It has evolved, and people have told people, and it has just been so amazing.
Yes.
And I'm just ever so grateful for that.
Fabulous.
We're growing. We're going to go into Africa.
Yes.
Most of the countries in Africa is the target. So all my sisters out there, bear in mind, I'm coming to you. Okay, I'm coming to you. Yeah. So,
wonderful.
So this is me in a nutshell.
Excellent. Sondos is in Egypt. She's in Cairo. She's having some connectivity issues. I see you. You're there. We'll come back and we'll start with you, Sondos. So we're going to find out who you are, what you're about, and what this Pan-African Women's Day means to you when we're back. everything. I'm Olivia Otieno. You're listening to us this Pan-African's Women's Day. It is Double O Direct. Female host, female artists, female guests. I'm dressed by Liz Njoroge Collection. Female designer, female authors. It's female everything. Yeah? But you can be male. You tweeting, you WhatsApping, you texting and calling. Feel free. Any gender. Most welcome. With me still are Janet Mbugua from Nairobi, Sondos Ali from Egypt, in Nigeria, Iyadunni, Gbadebo, and a lady from South Africa. It is Mnothowandile, Cele. So, you were telling me, Sondos, that I am crazy for having contacted you to do this, because this is not what a risk financial analyst does. What exactly is your title? Introduce yourself, Sondos.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for having me here with you, with all the inspirational women that we have here with us. I feel very embarrassed. You're very inspirational women that have accomplished a lot of things, and I feel like I'm an average accounting employee, that I haven't done anything that is very inspirational, to be honest. But I'm very, very happy and very humbled to be invited to be with you here. A little about myself. I'm an accounting analyst in Jumia Group. I've worked in logistics, I've worked in customer service before I graduated from college, but after that I decided to have a career in accounting, and this is what I'm doing right now. So basically this is about me. You were asking me what or who are the women that I'm inspired
before you get into those three women that you shared with me, Sondos. Do you know how Sondos and I met?
Yes.
Right? I was at Nyama Mama. I was in hospitality, Iyadunni. I was the sales and marketing manager for the Good Earth Group, and I was sitting at Nyama Mama, and I was just waiting actually to leave. It was in the evening, and this lady walks in, and just by herself, and somebody says, "Oh, she's looking for you." So I thought, okay, I'm the manager. Someone wants to talk to me. It was Sondos walking in Nairobi, Nyama Mama, sitting with, and she's like, so I'm like, what is it that you wanted to discuss? I thought it was a Jumia group thing. And she's like, no, I'm visiting here. I'm working at the Nairobi office, and I just wanted a place to eat. And I'm like, what? And you're alone? And she's like, yes. I'm like, there wasn't a single colleague of yours from Jumia to take you out. No. Makenya, you have let us down. I'm sorry. Kenyans are usually more hospitable than that, Sondos. But then again, she told me she's in finance. I'm like, no way. And she's the group analyst for the whole of Africa, right?
Yes, exactly.
Let me tell you, they fear you. When I say your name, like I know you because I know you, they really fear you. But anyway, great work. So you gave me three names: Hendraid, Munaz, and Aya Abdelrauf.
Yes,
Tell
exactly.
me who these three women are.
Okay, so first it's Hendraid. I'm very inspired by her because she's really young. She had a university project, and then she took that university project into a real business.
Excellent.
And I found that very, very inspiring to start that in a very young age. Yes, and the business is. She's offering a sustainable solution to the problem of plastic waste in Cairo, because we still use plastic a lot in Cairo, Egypt. It's a really huge problem here. And what she's doing is she opened her own workshop to collect plastic bags, to recycle them and to reuse them. So I feel like she's really inspiring because she's really young and she has done that on her own, and she started that business on her own in that workshop. So it's very inspiring. The two other women.
Sorry, how old is she? You said she's really young. Roughly, how old is she?
When she started the business, she's 22.
Oh, one fantastic.
Yes. And the other two women that I'm really inspired by are Mona and Aya Abdelrauf. Actually, they are two sisters. They didn't study fashion. They were actually art students, but they turned their art into fashionable bags and accessories and founded their own brand. It's called Ukhtin. They're 100% handmade, and they're very unique. And I believe they've worked very, very, very hard until they got Beyonce to wear their bag. So I'm very inspired by them. Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Sondos. Thank you, Sondos.
Yeah.
Now we're heading over to East Africa. Janet Mbugua, you gave me three women. One, Wangari Maathai. Second was Ellen Sirleaf. And the third was Tegla Lerupe. So tell me, who are these women and why are you inspired by them?
Thank you, Olivia. First of all, I just feel like I'm inspired by a lot of women in Africa, even just like what Iyadunni has shared. I feel like we all have incredible stories and incredible passion. So I always find it very hard to narrow it down. I'm inspired by the girls and women we work with in communities. I'm inspired by, those who are teaching children. I'm really inspired by all of us because I think we have incredibly rich stories. Wangari Maathai, I know it always sounds like
cliche.
People will say, yes, yeah, Wangari Maathai, but she was the first African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
She was an environmental activist. She's the reason we enjoy a lot of the nature we have in Kenya. I've read her book a lot. I was so honored that I could to have met her once, I think in 2009-10. And I was just dumbfounded. I didn't know. I was just like, because for me, it's the fact that her resolve. I'll probably use this word a lot. I used it yesterday in another conversation. We have a very undeniable resolve as African women when we decide we want to follow through with something. And unfortunately, and I think Mnothowandile kind of hinted at it, people want to quiet you and people want to keep you in your box and in your space. But I think naturally in us, we all have a lot of resolve. And I think our collective resolve is going to push our continent forward if we're able to surround each other. So Wangari Maathai, despite being, divorced in 1976, I think, despite physically being assaulted in a national park in front of all of us because we watched it on TV, she made it and she shut down a plan to do away with our natural resources. I'm just in awe of her. Same with, Ellen Sirleaf, because I think at the time, the women in her country decided to step up and speak out against gender-based violence. A lot of them were experiencing GBV, especially rape. And so the women in the market started to really sound out and speak out. And in the end, they put one of their own in office. Again, resolve, undeniable resolve. And again, having shared a space with her briefly, there's a lot of history and wisdom there with her. Tegla Lerupe is one of the most iconic athletes to come out of the continent. And she could have chosen anywhere to, share her passion, do her projects. She went right back to her village and she's been able to save so many women from FGM, so many people from child marriage. And so the three of them come to mind because of this word that I keep saying, resolve. The other day I was reading about the Chibok girls that were unfortunately kidnapped. And there's a lady there, I think on Twitter, she's called Obi Ezek. I don't know if I've said it right. But she every day, every year, even when the world and the hashtags had been forgotten, she was like, where are the girls? We want to see them. We need them back home. Resolve. And so if there's anything anybody can take from this, I hope, is that I've been reflecting so much this year and last year. I've been reflecting on just as mid-ish 30s, as somebody who is in between this sort of like Gen Z millennial and older generation, and in between all of these mindsets and shifting narratives, is to be able to say, if we need to go back to values, and doesn't mean you have to be pretentious or holy or whatever it is, but the value systems that were instilled in us from a long time ago, the resolve that was instilled within us, and our collective passion to see better for our women and girls is the thing that needs to continue to drive us consistently and with a lot of intentionality. Otherwise, we'll keep coming back to Pan-African Women's Day and taking stock and wondering, how come we haven't moved the needle?
Yes.
So we need to be unapologetically with resolve in moving forward. So that's why those women inspire me. That's the answer.
Fabulous, fabulous. From East Africa, we now go to South Africa. Mnothowandile, Cele, please tell us. The three women that you sent me are very interesting. Dr. Joyce Banda, Chimamanda Adichie, and Queen Nandi. So why do these three women inspire you? Why do you admire them?
Well, first and foremost, I actually loved, first of all, let's just start with Dr. Joyce Banda. I had the pleasure of actually having a dinner and attending one of her talks, I guess, about 2 years ago prior to COVID.
Yes.
And, you know, the amount of wisdom that woman has, and she was literally the first female Malawian president. And, you know, for her to set that kind of precipice, you know, she taught me that you can never be too old or too young to achieve your dreams. If you are dreaming of being the first female president of South Africa, then so be it. And that is my ultimate goal. I want to become the first female president for South Africa and first independent, if I may add. So I don't want to be having any political affiliation, because I think, you know, if you want to make the change that you want to see in the world, you need to ensure that you don't have any, you know, you don't have any loyalties to, or you don't owe anyone any loyalty once you actually make it. So now that we're on provincial level, we'll, you know, when we get to national, and then we'll get to, you know, to the cabinet.
I'm gonna save your number.
Parliament, and then ultimately, you know, president.
I'm telling you, what a day! What a day!
So that, of course, is for me. When it comes to my first woman, Dr. Joyce Banda, and then the second, Chimamanda Adichie. I mean, come on.
There's
do I even have to,
no. Don't
do
even
I
say
even
nothing.
have to explain myself why? So 2 days ago, I actually had the honor of attending a live talk that she was talking about together with the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Town. And, you know, I was just looking at her and how she speaks, you know, her eloquence and her articulation, her firmness in her femininity. Like, it's okay for you to be a female leader and still tap into your femininity. And I think that's one of the greatest things that I also teach young girls that are stepping up into leadership positions, that you don't have to trade in your femininity to have a voice as a leader. You can be a leader, you can be stern, you can play with the wolves, but you don't have to be a wolf. You can still be soft and lovable and approachable.
Mumbi, are you hearing? Taking notes? I'm talking to my producer because she needs to take notes. She's a young lady like yourself. Yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, if she needs anything, I'm always available on socials. So yeah, that's the greatest lesson that Chimamanda Adichie has taught us, that you need to be eloquent in what you're saying. You need to know what you're saying. You need to articulate yourself well, and you need to put your point across without dehumanizing, demoralizing, as well as offending the next person. And that it's okay to hear people's different opinions if they differ from yours. It's okay. It's totally okay. It's, you know, it's them.
Excellent. Queen Nandi.
Listen and you don't judge. Now, Queen Nandi is the famous queen mother of our former, rather, because he's passed, our former King Shaka Zulu. I know a lot of people know Shaka Zulu. So Queen Nandi was the mom. And, you know, the story of Queen Nandi goes, I'm going to say it as blunt as I can. She does not kiss ass. Like, even when she was the queen mother, she was just like, oh, you don't want me? Okay, fine. I'm packing my bags, taking my kids, I'm out. So she taught me one thing: you don't have to settle. Exactly. Never settle for anything. And your standards, your morals, and your heels must be extremely high. So that's what Queen Nandi taught me, and that is why she is my favorite. So those are my top 3 women.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Iyadunni, you also sent me your 3 women that you admire this Pan-African Women's Day, and they are Sola Cole, Ibitola Udunsi, and Lola Akpata. Who are these women, and why do you admire them?
Right, Olivia, I'd say something first before I respond to that. For me, admiring someone is a very personal thing. I think that a lot of women inspire me.
Yes.
And if I had known these beautiful women that you have on this panel before today, they would have been top of my list now that I know sort of who they are and what they've achieved. However, for me, admiring women and getting inspiration is deeply personal.
Yes.
The three women you have on that list are my mother,
Yes.
and her two sisters.
Do you know, I wondered why I could not find a photo of these women on the Google. Let me tell you, thank you for admitting that. Janet, Mnothowandile, Sondos, 3 hours. 3 hours I was on the interwebs trying to discover. Now, how I knew, I almost called technical. But I love that, Iyadunni. Please tell us more.
I'm so sorry for putting you to so much work looking for them. But I think that the most amazing women are those ones that you never hear about. The woman in the village who's had probably 10 children and has had to, raise all 10 children to be amazing people in life. The one who lives on the street without any hope for the future and trains her children for money that she's begging from. And these are women who I admire. These are women who inspire me. This is no shade to anything that anybody else thinks about inspiration or admiring women, but I just think that, the little unsung heroes are the ones that are after my heart. And I'll tell you, these women, I was raised by a single mother, and she raised 3 children, 3 of us. My father had left her at the age of 25, and she single-handedly raised all 3 of us. I think that I'm a product of her hard work. I think that her and her sisters stuck together, and even my cousins, the children of the other 2 ladies who are there, my mother's sisters, and my siblings are really close. You would never know whose mother was who. I think that's brilliant. I think that, they were not very easy on us as children. They taught us resilience. They taught us the strength of character, deep family values. They were not very, they were not the new school parents. They were very old school. So we used to get the cane if we did something wrong. And I absolutely love that, because this is how I'm bringing my children up, to know that there's consequences for your actions or inactions. They taught us self-love and self-worth. Where do I start to tell you all the amazing things they taught that inspires me about these women, other than looking at my life now and reflecting back on how good I feel about being who I am today. These are the 3 women that are dear to my heart. And you don't know them, nobody knows them, but I know them. And I know that they are amazing women.
That's incredible.
Yes,
that is incredible. Iyadunni, I love it. And you have to go in exactly 6 minutes, but I want you to send somebody who's also very dear to your heart some wishes for their special day today.
Yes. Well, Molade and Bimbo Kasali, my sister and my new brother. I absolutely love you both. Molade is like my double gang. She does everything that I do. She's my much younger sister, and she's a brilliant woman. And I think that her husband has won a noble prize to be married to her. She is strong, she is independent, and she will bring value to his life, as long as he is a man and he remains a king, because that's how to keep a woman. And I wish both of you an amazing marriage, and I wish you long life and beautiful children in good health, in wealth, in prosperity, and God's grace. Happy wedding, happy married life.
Oh, that is brilliant. Ladies, we're going to come back with your parting shots and what your advice is to other women your age, younger women, and our girls on how we can overcome some of the challenges we face as Pan-African women. Few minutes as I wrap up with the ladies from across the continent. 4 sensational women: Iyadunni, Mnothowandile, Janet Mbugua, Sondos Ali. Let me tell you, amongst them, Atakuna, head of state, is going to be happening. But right now, we are wrapping up because we listed some women that they admire, women that inspire them. But what is stopping more girls? What is stopping more women from being there? What is stopping more of us across the continent from achieving such lofty goals, from being admired and inspiring others? We're going to start with you, Iyadunni, because I know that you have to go to your sister's wedding. And if you are late and that speech is not said, she will be mad, because it's a brilliant speech. Fantastic shout out to her. So tell us, what's stopping more girls and more women?
Well, yeah, thanks, Olivia. I would say that there are we don't have as many women as we should have, that as many role models, I would say. I think that there's a lot of us, but if you're not as popular, if you're not as, out there talking, being vocal on Instagram and all social media platforms, that you don't get that, you don't get a lot of people, trailing after you. For me, and this is something I've been deeply thinking about, especially in the Nigerian space, that a couple of my friends and I have got together, and we've been talking about how, we don't have a wealth, enough credible role models for people to emulate. And that even though there are a lot of people doing a lot of good things, those people's stories are not shared. They're not, they're not told. And that the ones who are, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't have a crop of new people in every new era and every new age coming up, doing amazing things, and those kind of people spotlighted. And that because of social media, that there's a lot more people not doing that much, not a lot of substance. And these are the kind of people that a lot more young girls look up to and aspire to be like. I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but I want to admire a woman who's done something great in her career, in her academic field, in her professional field, in her marriage, in her social life. But there definitely has to be substance to these women.
Yes.
And that there's a lot of women who lack the substance, that because they're popular, people are talking about them or wanting to be like them. And for me, there's a misplaced priority in that regard. And I mean, I would just say that I think that more women who are doing good things should not shy away from coming out, to be that role model. And if I'm saying this, I'm pointing 5 fingers, and one of them is going right back to me, to say that you have to, do this as well. So it's something that I've been saying to myself, mentoring more young women and just giving them a perspective to what a role model should be. That you so for instance, it's not selling your body that makes you a woman. It's not selling yourself cheap or being that submissive woman that everybody tramples upon, that makes you a good woman. You have to be out there, you have to be doing things that are worth emulating. And these are my thoughts about this. I don't think that there's enough of us, and I think that a lot more of us should be coming out, showing all the positive things we're doing, and sharing more light, sharing our experiences, sharing our fears and our trials and our tribulations. And this is the strength that you can, this is how you can make an impact on other women.
Iyadunni, I'm going to snap my fingers for you, but also tell you, and I'm glad you pointed that thumb back at yourself, because getting you to join this panel was pulling teeth. I literally pulled teeth, not pliers, because Iyadunni was like, nope, not doing it. Nope, go to hell. No, she didn't say go to hell, but just like, not gonna do it. Nope. Who are you? She's like, who are you? I don't know you. Huh? You're not my mother. You're not my sister. Not my auntie. Who are you? I have never even been to Nairobi. Have you been to Nairobi, by the way?
No, I haven't.
You see, she's never even been to Nairobi. But it is Jesus and his mother Mary that's made this happen. Amen. Let me tell you, I am so happy I convinced him. So happy you're here. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. Tell your sister.
Thank you.
The most blessed of marriages for her.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you to all the other lovely ladies here. I look forward to hosting you guys. I'm promising you that your first trip is on me. So come and let me show you good life in Echo Hotel and at the spa.
It is gonna happen. Iyadunni Gbadebo, have yourself
Olivia,
a great
you're
time.
A star. You are a star. Thank you very much.
We're international.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure meeting you. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Now to North Africa, where in Cairo, Egypt, we have Sondos Ali. She is a financial analyst for the Jumia Group. Sondos, you mentioned 3 women. I want to know what the barriers are to more women taking up such positions. And one of them actually started her business when she was only 22 years of age. Sondos.
Yes, I think that some of the barriers that women could face, that fear of criticism. They're afraid to be criticized, listening to people tearing them down. They're coming from conservative backgrounds, having people tell them they need to do that or they don't have to do that. These are the barriers that women could face in, for example, Egypt. My advice to these women that they have to be confident, to work hard, learn to say no when they don't feel like doing something. They have to know to say no and to love yourself. If you love yourself, you'll achieve everything you want. This is my advice to all the women in Africa.
Thank you, Sondos. When you are next in Nairobi, we need to have a meetup. Tell me your promise.
Yes, definitely.
You see how I
promise.
twist people? Fantastic. Thank you, Sondos. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. We will talk soon. We're going now to East Africa. The most influential and talented Janet Mbugua. You mentioned 3 women. I need to understand exactly why these women aren't multiplying across the continent.
No, that's a good question. First off, I love what, of course, Sondos and Iyadunni have said. She's alluded to it. Both of them have. One of them is the ability to tell our own stories. I think for the longest time, our stories have been told for us and we're done. Can you please stop telling our stories? We can tell our own stories. Thank you very much. And for the longest time, I just wondered why when I would see African women, whether it was in Kenya or wherever, trying to rise up, you're silenced. And I guess the older you get, the more aware you are to things like, sexism, patriarchy. And I'm glad that there's a lot of women bulldozing through that because we have every right to be here. We have every right to tell our stories. So Sondos talked about self-love. Iyadunni talked about stories. So it's a combination of those. We need to not be afraid to tell our stories, no matter how small or irrelevant, quote unquote, we think they are. So everyone's story is important. The reason why we are all here, the reason why we're all put on this earth is that we can inspire in whichever small or big way. It takes a long time for people to make peace with that. And so they hide behind themselves. They hide behind people. They hide behind the labels. Because honestly, as African women, there's nothing that hasn't been thrown at us. There is no insult that hasn't been thrown at us. There isn't any barrier that hasn't been put in front of us until you realize, oh, you guys were afraid because we were shining too bright. I see you now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shine unapologetically. And I don't mean that metaphorically because I actually see myself really shining on this light. I'm so sorry. I didn't have any powder or foundation. So just forgive me, Olivia. I'm seeing you all zhuzhed up as well as
I work one day a week, Janet Mbugua. I work one day.
Yeah,
if I can't look good on this one day, no. And let me tell you, I had to represent. We got people in South Africa, future heads of state watch.
Right here, yeah. So exactly, everybody's watching. And so I think when we talk about role models, it's also a bit of a polarizing conversation because some people will say, but I'm not here to role model your daughter, etc. But I think if you have any sphere or any space that you can occupy, just be careful how you use it, I think, and invite people onto your space. Olivia, there's a lot of women, and I know we're in the spirit of celebrating, so let's celebrate, but let's also challenge women.
Yes.
There's a lot of women who don't want to share their spaces, because you're so afraid that somebody's going to take your space. And
Janet Mbugua is going to outshine me. She has like 1 million followers on Instagram. Me, Janet, as of today, I have 700 followers on Instagram. I cannot have Janet on my show. Janet is going to outshine me even with her forehead. It's going to be terrible.
But let me tell you something. Whatever God has given you, nobody can take away from
Amen.
you. So if you have and I love what you're doing, Olivia, you're very generous with your platform because you're inviting voices on there. So that's what we all need to do. So the 3 things are definitely self-love. I know we haven't been loved and talked about love. We feel like we don't deserve to love ourselves as African women. I'm glad it's changing. I'm glad to live in a time when things Black are being celebrated in a very authentic way. So let's love ourselves. Number 2, let's not be apologetic about who we are and our stories. We're all very unique and your story might seem simplistic, but it's not. Your story is somebody else's inspiration. Step up, step out. And then number 3, share your space. Invite people onto your space. That's what I've done over the last few years. I think it's one of the reasons my foundation has been able to grow because I very generously share my space with people and invite people for them to feel like it's a safe space to talk about menstrual health, gender-based violence, and all these social injustices. So let's shine. We as African women right now, I know we always say, this is our time. I really feel like this is our time. So wherever you're watching, that you have a little fire in you, light it, because you're the only one who can. Nobody's going to light that fire for you. And believe in yourself, because you are incredible just the way you are. And thank you so much, Olivia. I'll definitely sidebar you later, because I can see us spreading this love elsewhere. Mnothowandile, it was so lovely to meet you. I saw her come on the screen. I'm like, see how South African women like to show up.
Oh,
see
yes.
How, like, I was just like, is it really necessary to just be all... I lived there. Let me tell you, you come out of your house, look at your outfit, you're like, let me go back. Let me go back and,
let
wear
me
something
put my
else.
face on.
So, like Olivia has said, you're gonna, if you're running for that head of state, and Olivia, you said it.
Yes.
That it's an all of us affair to get one woman up there.
Yep.
So thank you for saying that. We must surround each other a lot more.
Yeah.
So Asanteni, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Janet Mbugua, Inua Dada Foundation. You need to go online, find out more about it. She doesn't need more followers. She got over 1 million. I'm not at 700. In fact, Janet, I think you were like my 700th follower on Instagram. I nimeshukuru sana. Now to South Africa, the future president of South Africa, Mnothowandile Cele. You mentioned 3 amazing women. Why aren't there more of these women on the continent? What advice do you have for our girls?
I think the biggest reason why, as women, we not as much as we'd like for us to be, is the thing of we say that we want to empower women, and we say that we want empowered women, but when a woman tries to flex her wings, then it's, oh my God, how dare you?
I agree.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. We say that we want more women in leadership. We want more women in the academic space. We want women to take up space. But as soon as a woman tries to do that, the very same peers, it's the friends, it's the mothers, it's the aunts, it's the other women that are literally, trying, like, putting her down and trying to dim her sparkle. Where did we get that? How did we get there as a people? Because I think it's generally this whole mindset of if she can, if I can do it, then no one else must. So this whole idea as well of women that are in top powerful positions, especially in the corporate world, and I feel like everyone has a story to share there, where any woman that is in the board, doesn't want to see the woman that is coming after. Like, then why did you break those ceilings in order for you to just sit in that table
and cement them?
You're supposed to empower those that are coming underneath you so that they can continue and even go up further than that. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you are female and you are Black and you are in a position of power, that it begins and ends with you. Being a true leader means that you are able to even to create even more leaders that are going to do bigger and better things than you. That is the true definition of being a leader. And as a female and as a leader, you need to understand that another woman or another girl that is doing things bigger than I am, who has a bigger following, who has clear skin, beautiful smile, all of that. If she excels in the beauty pageant life, and that is how she's empowering other girls, then it doesn't stop you who's a scientist, you who's a doctor, you who's a lawyer, you who is a radio presenter or a social media influencer. It doesn't take anything away from you. We are all doing the same thing. We are all empowering women, just in our own different spaces. And we need to start learning that, collaborating with that, and being okay with that it is okay for you to shine in your own corners. And I think, and I will actually close by saying that I think also the most important thing that we should be teaching the young girls today is leadership and the power that it comes with it.
Yes.
It's something that has been lacking in young girls throughout the whole entire diaspora, and with women as well, for a very long time. And it's not because we do not want to, be leaders or to become leaders, but it's because of what this general society has labeled women that want to be leaders. So
Yes.
if you are in a leadership space, it says that you are putting on your big girl pants.
Yes.
Like, why can I not put in my big girl dress or my big girl skirt? Like, why does everything has to be masculine, you know? So I think that with us women, of course, we are the most powerful beings in this world.
Yes.
Like, that's without saying.
Yes.
Women are the most powerful beings in this world, and should we be given the opportunity? Should we be given an opportunity to lead? Like, hello, have you seen what happens when a woman is in a position of power? There's absolute change. And I think society is just not ready for that. But also in the same breath, as women, we as a sisterhood, we need to stand together and actually band together and say, you know what? We want to do this. We want to see change, and we are stepping up. And that is what we should be teaching these young girls, that it's okay to take up space. It is okay for you to be a leader, because at the end of the day, there is nothing that is as important as taking up space in society and cementing yourself.
Mnothowandile Cele, future head of state for the Republic of South Africa. You heard it here first. I'm telling you, it may take 5 years. It may take 15 years. It may take even 20 years. But it's going to happen. Thank you so much, ladies. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have yourself the most amazing Pan-African Women's Day.